Welcome to the Out There channel, live stream 48. Robert from UK will be joining me tonight, and haven't really got anything planned, but we'll see how it goes. So I'll just cue some music and do the usual checks. We've had a few technical problems already, but we'll see how we go. So, desktop's coming up all right. We've got Robert joining us. I've got it locked on my screen at the moment. Not sure if anyone's going to join us just yet. Where's my mouse gone? So, yeah, Robert, say hello, I guess.
Hello.
Let's see if it changes screens on YouTube. I don't think it switched, did it? Did I see you come up? Oh, yeah. Right. We're on the Hangouts, so people can join us on the chats this time. So it means the graphics isn't going to be as crisp as my other recent ones in the last couple of weeks anyway. Hopefully the audio is going to be better. I've noticed the new system has a lot of missing words, and this one I hear it crackle all that, but I don't think it records that way. So there's problems with both setups. So Google's not perfect. So yeah, so we're going to Robert's going to want to talk about Maury Island UFO incident. Have you got the links for the stuff you're going to talk about there, Robert?
No, I haven't. I'm going to have to wing it.
It's a bit of a delay there for some reason.
There's a delay.
Okay, but first of all, stuff that on previous slides anyway. You do know there was a bit of a, before your mate showed up, there was a bit of a chaos with UFO Man and QVid on live sessions. So you sort of missed all that sort of business, but you've probably seen some of the comments. And I'm not sure if other people can hear you okay, because I'm still getting the odd crackle noise for some reason. So first of all, UFO Interest has posted a couple of things. So this on that Sunspot. What do you think about the Sunspot fakery that was going around? all the stuff people were putting out there as conspiracies. Did you think it was? Did you believe any of them, like UFOs around the sun, all lined up for invasion, or meteorite heading our way, Robert? You still hearing me okay?
Yeah, the music's really loud.
Hey?
Music's really loud.
What? I haven't unmuted the music. Okay, look, I forgot to pause the music. Hang on. I think that's to do with the noise cancellation. It shouldn't be loud. It's because we talk and the software goes crazy. How's that sound?
That's much better.
Can you hear me now?
I can, Paul.
All right. Right. There seems to be a bit of delay between New Zealand and UK. We got Rob O'Neill on the side here. Hey, how's it going?
All's good, Paul.
I was just asking Robert what he thought about the Sunspot Observatory being closed down and all the conspiracy news that was happening. So yeah, UFO Interest has put up some, where is he? New posts about it, and I think it's what is claimed in the post as a excuse for the closure. Bring it up. I wasn't going to talk anymore on the Sunspot. I thought we were done with it, but looks like we're not. You still hear me okay there, Robert?
Yeah, I'm heaving you all the way.
Yeah. So he's put out this one here. What's it all loads? Hang on, it's just so slow. So did you get to look at all the conspiracies that are out there with the closure of the Sunspot there, Robert?
It's crazy.
What did you think about it all, though? So he's got more details here, but it's taken a while to come up. Total BS.
Rubbish.
So
total BS.
Yeah. Even though security team put out 4 videos, they made a nice $500,000 from it. He got over must have been like 3 million views for all the conspiracy theory with it. And it's still picking up a lot of views. So this is the new statement here. I suppose you can read the screen. New Mexico Observatory closure stemmed from FBI child porn probe. I think that's bollocks, because they evacuated houses either side of this place, because it was on the news, official news, where the kids were saying that he was the FBI knocked on the door and told him to get out the house. And now janitor, or what we call as normal cleaners in our country, he was using their free Wi-Fi to send and download child images. So that's what they're claiming, what it was all about. But I think that's just that doesn't sort of tie in why you would evacuate houses either side. So I think it still might be a cover story here and the real reason might be that they're still looking at a terror cell aspect to it, because they don't want to give away too much because they're still investigating. So they might be looking at links. I don't think it's switching to your screen at the moment. Is it locked on me? Should be locked on me now. What are we saying down here, down the side? I think it's cover story. It was hacked. No, it's not a hack. That wouldn't be a hack either, because why would they evacuate people either side of the site for their safety? Because if you read the official story, they said they evacuated the place as well, the staff, as well as people in the surrounding area. And hacking wouldn't involve that.
No, why would they?
Yeah. So it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And they're definitely not telling the full story too. And that's from Reuters. But do we believe anything that mainstream media puts out now?
Not at all.
Oh, that corrupted badly then. Hopefully it sounds all right on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's the latest that come out today. And I still think it's either going to be a mass shooting / bomb threat for people to be evacuated from the area, not internet or hacking related. Doesn't make sense. Unless the people were lying about being evacuated. But if you have a look at the original post, it does say local staff and reticence. Where is he? He's got it on the page here, if it's bothered loading yet. Where's the original post? He's got it here somewhere. Don't think it's that low down. Where's it gone to? He may have deleted it. He's got a lot of other posts there, but we'll just skim through those as well. Yes, it's not coming up with the other one he had up that he had a minute ago. Not sure what's happened to it. But the original statement said was about evacuating people. And child porn has nothing to do with that. So, yeah. Normally evacuate people if there's a gas leak or something like that, you know. But local police would be involved if it was just a gas leak. But if it's definitely got to be related to guns or bombs or something like that has a. Yeah, why is this going so slow though? I think Hangouts just takes away that little bit of extra speed that we need. Anyway, I'm on here also about this viral video, which is a CGI hoax here. Let's see if I can zoom into it. It's meant to have astronauts talking on it. It's a CGI fake of about a moon base and astronauts walking around down there. Not sure if he's got a link to the full video. Another CGI video created by. It's gone slow. My zoom's disappeared. Right. CGI created by many things. So he's got YouTube here. So let's open it up. Okay. Yeah, it's terribly slow. Am I sounding all right, or am I breaking up on the voice?
Occasionally crackling, Paul.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Renee has joined us. So this is meant to be a CGI fake. They get pretty good, the CGIs. You can see it's still loading, even loaded the side bits and below. You would have to probably listen to it. It's got people chatting on it. I'm not sure if it was the original astronauts or they sort of made it up. Paste. Is that the right one? I didn't put my welcome mission, but I should put my welcome mission. So it'll let me type it. Yeah. It's not running really smooth for some reason. Kind of looks fake when you zoom into it there, though. Hang on. Let me just get organized. I need one of those D-Wave computers that the military use.
That won't be cheap.
Quantum computer. You're all crackling up there. I think it must be my end. I think maybe they've done something to it recently, haven't they? I haven't done this Hangouts for ages now. 48, I think we're up to.
Yeah.
At least that's in the side chat, so it's always bookmarked. So this is the little clip that's only 45 seconds long, and it's got, I'll just zoom in here. Alien on Moon, proof of Apollo 11 cover-up, Project Blue Book. He's got 79,000 followers, many things. He's almost got 4 million views for this video. And what does he say? Does he list it as an emanation? He's listed it as entertainment. At least he's sort of being honest there. Entertainment means you don't take it seriously. But still, it doesn't say in the video that this is a CGI fake. So what did Scott say about it? Did he admitted it being a fake? Yeah, that's stupid soon. Right, leaked alien footage. Some follower was sent. Sent me a video about an alleged secret event. Another CGI created by. So the guy is making the fakes. I think some hoax promoters fell in love with the visual effects of this. What's his name? Was that his name? Astrometus Dispa Bass. You want to have a go at saying that name? No. So yeah, let's have a look at it again. And I'll play it from the beginning. It's made to look like old footage. Oh, that's loud.
Yeah, soggy.
How are you going to get me in trouble with copyright there? Playing a song. I don't know where the song's from. It looks kind of fake when you zoom into it. He's even put interlace artifacts in. Look, see that? Try to disguise it. It looks like a CGI fake humanoid. So that's meant to be from the helmet cam of the astronauts. So I think Robert's on the phone. That was the music that we heard. So what else has he got up here? Also another one doing the rounds is this one with the casino. It's this one here with the round lights going around the circle. And there's spotlights on this casino off the clouds. That's been going around for years now. You get lots of videos coming out. People still record it as a UFO.
I've seen
You just
that
have to
before.
get the right. Yeah. What's it's called Mystic Lake Casino anyway. I suppose is that the Indian, one of those red Indian casinos they have over there.
Oh.
So what do you call them? You know, all the different tribes over there. They all seem to have casinos over there. That's how they make their money. And this one here, which is quite a good one, on the plane. I wonder if it'll play. I'm not sure if you've seen this one, but it's pretty good CGI as well. What's happened? Where's it going? So it's obviously been picked up by Snopes, who said it's false as well. I wanted the actual video because the video is actually quite interesting. Another good one to watch. Where is it? Dragon 737. And people, some guys promoting it as planes actually bend the same way. Might be this one. Let's see if that plays. Emanated gift, it says. Is it? Look at this. Look at the wings bend. People actually believe it's real. Yeah. But the guy's done some real good CGI work and he's got people coming off all upset. I suppose. Oh. What was that noise?
Wasn't me.
Probably coming. Did you hear it?
I did.
I think it. Did you hear it? I thought I had it muted. You shouldn't have heard that sound. It shouldn't be coming through. Maybe we can only hear it and not record it.
Hopefully.
We'll play it again. You know, if a plane was doing that, I think the passengers inside would be a bit beaten up inside. They'd be falling down chairs and hitting their heads. But yeah, obviously it goes to a video somewhere. That must be might be a Facebook video, is it? So we can't share the link. Yeah, Facebook. It's on a Facebook. Oh, we'll post the link to that so you can watch on your screens yourself.
Just on my Facebook alone, Paul, that video's come up. I must have seen it 10, 12 times.
Just post it down the side there so other people can go and look at Scott's video link there. They want to look on the big screens better than on live because it's probably corrupting, as you probably know, because we're on the Hangouts version, which is less quality graphics. It is a clever video, but it should be on YouTube if he wants to get more views for it, rather than Facebook videos. Made by the what? Oh, right. Someone down the side doing it, is it? So, yeah. I think that was pretty much it. What's this one here? Oh, right. It's talking about that triangle UFO that was on the aircraft carrier by Section 51. Actually, people actually believe that CGI video as well, which is kind of crazy. It's amazing how people easily can be fooled by CGI stuff, even though it's not even convincing to us. Oh, here's that thing I was looking for earlier, way down here, about the sunspot. Let's just see if I can get to it. Let's see if I can get to it, because it's going terribly slow. Need it bigger. I think I posted the same thing. It says here, threat to local safety of local staff and residents. Hacking and child porn at the place wouldn't have people evacuated like that. So I think that one's another no-go story. Unless the guy knew he was going to be called out and also had guns on him. Maybe he was going to freak out and start shooting up the place. That's the only other reason why that story about the child porn would actually work for me. It's got to be some guns involved.
Still a stretch of the imagination, though, isn't it?
What, child porn?
Well, evacuating the area around.
I think it's a lot more going on there still. I think that was pretty much it covered now on Scott's page anyway.
Okay.
It's definitely, Hangouts definitely is plugging us. I don't know if Google have mucked around with Hangouts recently, but it seems to be playing worse than it ever did for me. But yeah, you've got to make sure it's on 720p. Yeah, it looks like it's corrupted on the screen here, but it's not on 720p. So make sure it's on 720p. Yeah, last time that was like 2 months ago, though.
I know.
So how come it's not showing you up? Let's just make sure that's working.
I can see myself. Oh my God!
Right, switching now.
I've got a delivery.
All right, I just wondered why it wasn't switching, but it is switching. Okay, see ya. So what I'm going to look at is this video that UFO Proof put up, and I had a look at it. He was asking people what they thought. Now, as you know, I don't recommend UFO Proof anymore because he has taken money from Secure Team 10 and said, which he isn't, because he put out all that conspiracy stuff on Sunspot. And all the other stuff before then. What was it now? Anyway, he also is siding with Third Face of the Moon and saying that he's helping them debunk stuff. And if that's the case, he's not doing a really good job, because they put out that hoax, remember, the live hoax that we debunked a few streams back. And he refused to analyze it like we did and said no, they wouldn't hoax anything. So he's definitely not a truther or debunker. So yeah, he's into it for the money, and as you can see, he's probably got a few subs. He's up 10,000 now plus. Yes. So this is a video that he's got. Just to the point. Here it is. I'll play it from there. So we're looking at this little dot in this guy here. I'll see if I can. Was it playing? Should be playing. It's very slow. Slower than normal. It's painful. Here we go. Finally. This is terrible. So this thing up here is what we're looking at. I'm not sure if you can see my mouse cursor there. Around here. The person can't keep the camera very still. Oh, Google not going to let us play it. I'm not sure where you got the video from. But I tried to figure it out. You'll notice eventually they stopped filming, and normally that's a red flag when people just simply stop filming. And normally if it's a UFO in the sky, you want to keep filming it until you can't see it anymore. I don't know if I can zoom more into it, but I think it's definitely moving. If they could keep the camera still enough, I would have stabilized it and then put it up, showing the original and then stabilize it. Then that would take away the human, because there's enough information on this video, the hills, to stabilize it on. The focus is going out throughout the whole video, so it definitely looks like it's legit anyway, not CGI, unless they've done some really clever editing. Seems to be playing all right at the moment, but it goes on a fair bit like this. So there's the beach there. I was trying to look for some clues on the Pam away. To see whether it's on top of the mountain or slightly behind it or in front of it, because we can't tell distance on a 2D screen. How high up from the beach is it? So you can see how much they're zooming in, and we're not sure what camera type it is because it doesn't say, does it? And so it seems to be flying around from there to there anyway, flying back and forth around. And it seems to be changing various shapes as well. So panned away again. Oh, I was going to try and catch it there. Looks like a tourist spot where the beach is for surfing. Anyway, we'll just pause it there. There we go. So if we can zoom on to that scene. We've got swimmers. sand, then high rises. And where's the UFO? Can't see it on the, I think it's there. Faded. Can't quite see it. Oop. So I think he zooms into it anyway. You muted your mic there, Robert.
There we go.
Yeah. It's corrupting a bit though. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Looks like it's upside down there. So what's going on here? Why is it upside down? That's kind of weird. Did they have the camera upside down there for a starter in here? But they simply just stopped filming it. It's simply always there. So anyway, I did some analysis on it. And I have to find the files. I suppose it's gone on the wrong screen, has it? Yeah. Yes, it's terribly slow. Okay. Now, well, I've talked to you about this particular video a couple of days ago, Robert, so you're probably familiar with it.
Yes.
What's going on here? You can see how slow it is. Very, very, very slow. So it's almost like I've been infected. I think Google must have done something. You notice how they sort of changed Facebook now. They've sort of changed some of the icons. So where did I put it? What folder was it in? Oh, I think it might be in Life Bits. This is terrible. Okay. And we went to proof. There it is. It's almost like something's running in the background. Let me just check. There's got to be something going on here. Need Task Manager up to see where all the CPU's going. And it's still loading there. Not responding.
Yeah, check the CPU. You know, Task Manager, and maybe something's draining it that you can get rid of without any adverse effects.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, but I'm not sure what's draining it. It's saying it's only 31% here, which I don't believe that.
No.
There could be some malware that slipped through, you know, and I haven't checked in a couple of weeks anyway. But what happens is malware sort of hides itself.
Oh, I know. I use malware bites. That's the best.
Oh, you've gone suddenly loud.
Oh God, I'll lean back a bit.
You got.
I'll lean back a bit.
Oh, crikey, that was loud. My ears are going to bleed.
Oh no.
Anyway. What have you done? It's like you've sort of gone double the.
Nothing.
Oh, jeez, you have double the volume. I don't know if it's just me. I can hear you clicking.
Is that better?
It's really loud.
Is that better?
No, it's super loud.
Oh.
How's it going, Renee? Is it loud for you? Is Robert super loud to you guys? Because he is for me. Maybe I've peaked my volume up, maybe. Hang on, let me just check things out here. We need people to be more interactive. Oh, it might be me, hang on. Looks like my volume went super high. Some crazy stuff going on here.
Yeah, your voice is just... Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
No, you're still pretty loud.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Testing? Testing?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You must better hear.
And you're not loud.
No, you're all right now.
Oh, good.
I think it must have been my volume suddenly went super loud for some reason. That's all right, we're back to normal. I don't know, we always have technical problems. Let's see if we can open up some of these pictures. Not that one. Where was the first one? That one here. So, I'm pretty sure I clicked it. Okay. This is a zoom in of this object, and I did some, try to do some filters on it, and try to see what the edges are. And you can see it almost looks like a floppy bit of something. This doesn't look like a solid craft. See here, it's sort of uneven sides, and this thing here is just a camera artifact here. It looks like an alien head, or this one. But here it's actually just this lens flare back from the sun reflecting off. So it's hiding what's actually underneath here. So we can't actually believe that image as a solid craft because it's not indicating that it's solid craft. So it's got to be some other man-made object. So next one, this is another frame, and you can see it hasn't got the white blob anymore, and it's still got that similar type shape happening here. Then I ran it into some enhancements, cleans it up a wee bit here. So if I zoom into that, you can see here it seems to have a regular attachment points underneath, like it has one here, one here, one here, one here. It seems to be regular little dimples underneath. One here, one here. So it's evenly spaced. And I probably would have to draw it on editor to show what I mean. But you can see here, it's got regular things coming down. And it's on an angle, obviously. So it's catching the wind coming from the sea this direction. So what was the next image? And this is another frame where it's slightly changed more into what he was saying, triangle craft shape. But is it? What was the next one? So that was my enhancement of it. So that's the original frame. That's the enhancement. And you can see it's very similar to that other image that had regular attachment points coming down here. So you can quite see it's got like ribs. It's got sort of rib patterns coming down. And it sort of looks almost like a parachute. And you can see it's not silver because this is artificially coloured. So it's come across as black, maybe with some reflective bits on it, because you can see here the sun's sort of reflecting off this side now. Although it's not coming back at the camera, you can see here it's sort of bright. It's not coming back at the camera, so it's not causing a lens flare.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I think it is. It's one of these kites that's got away. That they use for surfing. And you can see they come in different shapes and sizes. You get ones that are sort of real curvy. But you also get ones that tow not just surfboards, but also boats on the water, which can have a longer rope on it.
See, that would also, Paul, that would also stack up with the location as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was like a beach resort there. But the thing is, it looked like it was high up. But when you look at the video, so if we go back to what I think it is some idiot. They said it was high winds in the comments below. They said it was high winds. Here we go. This guy here said, if we can get it up, hang gliders are not allowed in the area, only parasails. So parasail slash, what do you call it, surf kites. So this is the only possibility. The director of my documentary lives just a few streets away from there, and she does not think it's a parasail due to it being really windy that day. She didn't see it and was home at the time. She is kicking herself. She missed it. So he's the one that recorded it, is it? I'm not quite sure how that's reading. But if you have a look, if we can get a... It looks to me like it's sort of... it is a parasail because it's escaped. And I think it's caught... You can't see the cables. It's a bit like that Billy Meyer stuff we looked at. You won't see the cables from that far away. They're like what they use for paratroopers, or what do you call it, military. They have what they call it, the 550 string or whatever it's called. It's like thin, very strong wire they use on it, and it's very strong, light and thin, and all it has to do is escape and catch on one of the trees up the mountain here, and it's going to be forever flying around there. So if we
that would also make sense the way. Sorry, Paul. That would also make sense the way it kind of oscillates, because it seems to move. So how I'm looking at it, it moves to the left, then suddenly the wire gets taut, and like elastic band that pulls it back the other way. So that would explain the to and froing of the object.
That's right. Until the wind got too strong and it snapped the cable or the branch that's stuck on, and then it'll be taken off again. So they probably went up the mountain here to try and get it, because they're probably not cheap. So if it was catching on, if it flew off the beach and went on the edge of the beach here, if we can get a picture of where it was, probably won't be able to find this exact space, will I? Where it pans away to people. Let's see if I can get it here, I think. No. Here we go. That's the faraway shot. So it's up here, way up here. So you can see here the beach goes right around here. So if it blew off in a wind this direction, It could easier have got really high if it's a strong wind, landed on trees and simply skipped and skipped and skipped along from tree to tree until it got up to the very top here, and it's caught on a branch really good, and it's just blowing around on the wind until the wind is not strong enough, and it'll probably fall back down to the canopy of the tree layers there. It makes you wonder if they've got roads that go up. It looks quite a dense mountain forest range
yeah,
there.
does look dense, yeah.
So it's up here, and you just can't see it. I think it was there, or there, or was it here? But anyway, they got high rises here. Doesn't look like there'll be many roads up there. You'd have to go hiking, I think, to try and retrieve your kite thing back down. What do you call it? Parasail. So yeah, if you look at these ones here, how it changes shape. Where is it? So you can see it changes shape. It goes from this, which is probably where it's sort of the wind was reduced, and it sort of lost compression, air pressure on this side, and it twisted. So all the wind was in the other end of this thing would blow it out this direction, and here the winds probably inflated the whole thing, because you can see it's back to the normal shape again. And if you get rid of all the artifacts, so that the smudging from motion blur, we get this shape here, which gives us the true shape of what we're looking at. And I think it's just like a parasail, like the same. It looks like it could be the right size too, because you can see how much it was zoomed in to try and get that. So he must have had not a smartphone here, because it looks pretty good quality. Does he actually say in the video at all? Probably not. It's all advertising, isn't it? Yep. Bye. So they're not telling us in the information there what kind of camera it was, but it looks like it's got an optical zoom, I think, because you can see here that it zooms in quite a bit from there to there. But it's definitely not a TR3b, new TR3b. It's the last thing I would have thought it was. So, yeah. But I'll just bring those videos, pictures, and draw what I see as how the parachute's made up. If you have a look at how a parachute's made up, you know it's got those ridges in it. I don't think that's the right parasail on that one there. A sample picture I took. This is not the right one, obviously. But you can see this has got regular ridges on this one even. I think it's much more bigger. And you can see there's a big one out here, but you can't see the guy on the... But these more like boomerang ones. I don't think it's a boomerang one like these ones. I think it's different. Like a regular parachute almost. But anyway, I'll bring in that one there. I don't know how it's going to work, because we know how slow it's going. Ooh. Open with. This is going to be fun. Let's see how it goes. What's Rene saying? Yeah, that's UFO Bruce video. Well, it's not his video. Someone sent it to him to analyze. But he didn't know what it was. He said it was an old man's shoe. He said it looks like an old man's slipper or something. But it's amazing how our minds can sort of match an image to something, even though it can be something quite opposite to what we think it is.
Pareidolia.
Yeah. Of course, it's probably in a foreign country too, so maybe there's been update information about it saying that it was a paracel, and if someone comes across it, please return it to the police station or something, which they probably wouldn't anyway. You can see how slow it is. But I just wanted to highlight where the ribs were. Ah, here we go. We might be getting somewhere. So yeah, so if I draw some lines on this, I'll choose white, I guess. And bit bigger. And you can see here it's got like attachment points coming down here. There's one here. It's like one here. Another one here. Another one there. Which is what you'd get on a parachute. And one up there. That's what I'm seeing. You can see it's got sort of regular, where it looks like it's got string attachments. I'm not sure if you can, I haven't actually got it in the right places there, but it's close enough. But we can't see the strings, of course, because it's a wee bit too far away. So I reckon that's like a parachute coming around here. Oh, that wasn't very good, was it? It's amazing how drawing doesn't work as well when it's very slow. So I reckon it's a parachute that's lost some of its wind, that other end, and it's been blowing out the far end. So the gust of wind's coming this way into the parachute. So it's going like that one. And if you have a look at this other one, enhanced, that'll probably take ages to load. Oh no, that was pretty quick. Wonder if I can zoom more into it though. Maybe not resize. I'll just go view soon. Too much now, I think. You can sort of see there's like ridges coming down here, 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 and here. It's very faint, but they're definitely ridges.
Yeah, you can see them.
So I'll just enhance it by drawing the white lines. And as you know, a parachute's made up into got stitching that goes around. Not very good drawing. Whoop, I'll undo that. So really, that's the best enhancement I could do of it, and try and suss out the shape changing. But it does match. When you got UFOs don't change shape. They don't shape shift. And when you see shapeshifting, normally you think of balloons, but you never think about parachutes. And this is a case where it's a parachute. So let's see if we can find a parachute that's got the ridge lines that we're talking about. If it's going to let me open it. I'm sure I clicked on it. Come on. Here it comes. Okay, get back to that. So that's what he's saying is the old man's shoe here. That's just because the light's reflecting back to the camera. And we're not seeing that sort of bubble shape that on original frame until you enhance it and try and get rid of the glare. So yeah, so we do a search on parachutes, maybe, or power cells even, but we'll try parachute. What's it doing? There, yes, it's definitely very slow. So you can see here, even on the images here right now, it could have even been a skydiver, could it? Could have been a skydiver, and they landed on the beach, and then it suddenly the gust of wind took it away. Could have even been like a parachute here. But you can see these ones have ridges. See these ones? More images. Let's have a look. This is what I'm talking about, these ridges. So it's like this one here, almost. It's got the right shape. See how it's got these regular ridges that I was talking about?
It's a good match.
It looks like one of these, doesn't it? It's got the lines coming down. It's got those lines that I'm talking about, the little things. And you can see here it's changing shape here on that one. But you see that all parachutes have those sort of ridges where the lines get connected to. So you can't even see the lines on this one. And that's a HD photo pretty close here. See? You can just barely see the wires. So like 550 cord, I think they call it, parachute cord. But here's the lines that I'm trying to draw on that image. It sort of goes, you can see the ends. So it's like a parachute like this, but they may have used it for towing like a surfboard with it. So I think it's a good match. There's the ridges that I tried to draw. And there's the cord attachments here. Let's see if I can enhance it even more. It's probably not coming as good across as it is on my screen, though. That's the thing. So let's get back to the base image. So if it's just hanging on a tree and some of the cords are looser than others, you're going to get it bubbling effect like this as it's rippling in the wind. So this adjustments is probably where it's not going to go very well because it needs a lot more CPU. I don't know if I can bring it out or not, but we'll try. I think the sound's improved between us now. This is strange.
I think so.
Oh no, it's gone bad again.
Okay.
It's not responding quick enough. It's not real time. It's making it darker. Let's see. We want. I don't know what we can try with it. Don't know if I can get the ridges to show up better. Sort of saw it then. It's going crazy now. Let's try again. Oh. So we want to lighten it this direction, is it? Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it in real time. It almost looks like a sort of a caterpillar effect underneath. So that would work if I could get you can see here it's got a wavy pattern here. Well, that's probably as good as we're going to get it, I think. But you can see here it's got this wavy pattern here, there, which is what I'm saying is the same as the parachutes of the wavy pattern that we're getting here. But on the leading edge coming this way. Why won't it amplify it? See, here's another one. Here's the wavy pattern that I'm talking about underneath. See that? But that's not that balloon, I don't think. It's one of these, I think. Like this one here, with the leading edge where it's going down, 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 down. Yeah, I think they're NASA ones. Yep, they are. There's some type of parrot. It almost looks like that one there. Let's see if we can zoom into that one. That looks like a UFO. That looks almost better than a UFO. If you cut that off there and put some CGI, it's even got little windows. See, got windows.
Yeah.
That does look like a UFO.
But it's not.
But you can see that the line, it's made up in these sections. So what I'm talking about, anyway. I'm not too sure if I can sort of explain it any better than that, really. But you can only get that on the right filters and the crazy zooms that we were getting. So if I get rid of the drawings on that one, maybe I can enhance that one a bit better. What are you trying to say here, Renee? You saying something useful, or you just Mr. Hanky, the Christmas pop from South Park? I'm not too sure what he's referring to there. Okay, and if we get rid of more of these. But no way would I have said that was a TR3b anyway. But it's good for clickbait, isn't it? If you put that in the title, click new triangle UFO TR3b spotted. So
well done.
I think if you follow me enough and look at how we sort of debunk live, I think everyone will be good at picking out stuff, you know, a bit like MUFON guys do. They do thousands and thousands, and when they see something and zoom in and think, oh yeah, I've seen something similar to that in such and such case. So let's brightness. Let's see if we can bring this one out a bit. If it responds. Well, it's making it darker. You can see how slow it is. If the guy had a wee bit more telephoto on the camera, I think it would have been fairly obvious. Why is it not moving? How do we get it slightly darker? Oh, this is crazy. Even this little simple control won't even function. Oh, I'm too light now. We sort of lost the ridges, but you can see here it's puffed out here a bit. You can see a ridge here and another ridge here. And you can sort of see ridges going up here. It's a bit hard when it's not working in real time. Normally you can just slide it up and down and you can get the sweet spot. I'm not getting the sweet spot. Hang on, I need a sip of drink. But you can see here the sun's obviously reflecting on this side where it's gone more white. But yeah, probably enough on that one anyway. We're not going to have much success in hunting it much more. I'll just close it down. Speed us up a wee bit, hopefully. Don't save. It is a interesting video, though. A good one to analyze and see. How's the time going? Does it tell us how long we've been going? The news system tells you how many minutes on the screen, but this one doesn't tell us how long it's been going for.
No, imagine 45 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't say. Maybe if I close down that one, it will speed up. Is that better? I'll close down my preview window off the YouTube. I think that might be slowing us down a bit too much. So you want to talk about Maury Island? Is that how you say it? Maury Island.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, where do you start?
Well, you said the story's complex. I didn't want to do that one.
Well, it was complex from the beginning.
I don't think so. But we'll just bring up some images of it anyway.
Okay.
And talk about the case. Did you have any particular links with information that you haven't heard about before? So here you go, it's got a wiki page on it.
I mean, I've got the MUFON one up at the moment.
This one here, 1947, MUFON Common.
Yeah.
Now,
excuse me.
Sort of thin writing on it. Looks like they got some FBI writing there. Let's see if we can scale it up. Okay. The 1947. What's that name? Oh, the dog. Maury Island incident is. Oh. Maury Island incident is one of the lesser known Washington State UFO occurrences, but should be known for several reasons. It is probably the first incident where a witness claimed that a men in black intimidated him into silence, and it took place. Why is it not scrolling? Took place before the famed Roswell crash. Yet there were many similarities between the two. Moreover, the two military intelligence officers investigating the sighting died in a tragic air crash before they could complete their investigation. Unfortunately, the two principal witnesses, it's not going to scroll, Harold Dow and Fred
Chrisman
become objects of suspicion and controversy as the investigation continued. And it's sort of a crazy story, talking about a UFO dripping molten metal.
Yeah.
And killing their dog.
And breaking the sun's arm.
Yep. And what? I didn't quite catch.
Breaking the sun's arm.
Breaking the sun's arm. Oh, right. It hit the sun, molten metal. Hang on. If molten metal it's got to be like 1400 degrees Celsius, like lava. If it hit his arm, he would know about it because it would cause severe burns and even make it irreparable almost. It wouldn't be just broken.
If it was molten, it was molten metal.
Says here, yeah. Was it molten metal though? Maybe it looked like molten metal, but didn't it catch the boat on fire? Anyway, let's have a look. He was on his patrol boat with two men, his son and their dog. Dale's boat approached the east shore of Maury Island. Maury Island is now attached to Vashon Island by a Causeway Road, and is about 6 miles west of Des Moines, Washington. Dale looked into the sky and saw 6 objects floating about 2,000 feet above his ship. The objects were made of some reflective metal, donut shaped and about 100 feet in diameter. The center holes were about 25 feet in diameter. Dale said he also saw round portholes and what he thought was a observation window. 5 of the craft circled over the 6th one, which dropped slowly. It stopped and hovered about 500 feet above the water. Dale put to shore because he was afraid the center craft was going to crash into the boat. Once ashore, Dale took several pictures with his camera. The lower ship stayed in position for about 5 minutes, with the others still circling above. One of the ships left the formation and moved down, touching the lower ships. The 2 kept contact for several minutes until Dale said he heard a thud. Suddenly, thousands of pieces of what he thought were newspapers dropped from the inside of the center ship. Most of the debris landed in the bay, though some hit the beach. Dale recovered a few pieces, finding it was lightweight metal. Along with the white metal, the ship dropped about 20 tons of dark metal, which he said looked like lava rock. So that means it must have been hot. When the lava rock hit the water, it was so hot the steam erupted. And they took cover after several pieces. Here we go. Several pieces. Now we've got to go to the side. Landed on the boat. Some debris hit the sun on the arm. If it's hot and causing steam from water, I think that's kind of suspect there. Burning him, and another piece killed his dog. I don't know. It's kind of a bit suspect to me. Picture
Yeah,
FBI
I think
case.
the whole story's been elaborated on. Is it Kenneth Arnold, who was the man who was sent by a guy called Palmer? Palmer worked for Fate magazine, which is still going to this day.
Right.
It's a paranormal magazine. Now, he paid all Arnold's expenses to go over and investigate the case.
Right.
At the time, Arnold had no idea that Palmer was a bit of a kook, and some of the stories that he had in his magazine were outrageous. If he'd known this, he may never well have gone, but he did decide to go. And it gets spooky right from the beginning, because he tried to book himself into a hotel, finding that all the hotels were already fully booked, until he stumbled across the last one, which was the most expensive hotel on the island, only to find out that someone had already booked him in. He contacted Palmer, and Palmer said it wasn't him.
Right.
So who booked him in? Well, there's a reason they booked him in.
Is there any evidence of that? Is there any evidence that paperwork that shows that it was actually booked in by someone else in advance, or is that just a story?
No, absolutely. It was on the register. That I don't think that part of the story is in question.
Have we got any pictures of that register showing that?
No, I don't believe we had. To be honest, Arnold was so relieved that he'd found the place for the night, and presumed that somebody had accidentally booked in his name and cancelled. But of course, that wasn't the problem. The problem was the room had been bugged.
Oh, right.
So that was a tremendous effort.
How did they know it was bugged?
Oh, but that was to come. They found that out later.
Oh, so they only found it in FBI files that it was bugged. Is that what you're saying?
No. The local sheriff was actually phoning Palmer and telling him about every conversation that was held at his room. And the local sheriff had this information passed on to him by somebody who would not give his name away.
Yeah.
But basically what they were trying to do was scare Palmer off the case. So, I mean, the logistics of having to have 4 or 5 people at the hotel, at the various hotels he went to, and all refuse him the room, and then the one that he goes to, he's already booked in, and he's not just booked in for the night, he's booked in for a good couple of weeks, all paid for.
That is strange.
It's more than strange.
But before the first UFO sighting was that Arnold sighting with what he called saucers skipping across water.
That's right. He coined the phrase UFOs. Saucers, flying saucers.
That was the first UFO case, and that was a couple of weeks before this one, the Maury Island one, wasn't it?
It was a good couple of weeks before this one.
And then the Roswell one.
Well, it happened
the Roswell
actually.
Crash.
The
Roswell crash happened after this, after a couple of months, wasn't it?
No, I don't think so. The Roswell crash broke on the 8th of July.
When was this one? Have we got a date?
By the time he goes out there, it's after the Roswell incident. I'm fairly sure it is, but only by a couple of weeks.
So the first sighting was Arnold.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Too late. Palmer found it. Palmer can say the box. It's about strange happenings. Yeah. Okay. Palmer of Fate magazine got hold of the story on the 21st and 22nd of July. So we're a couple of weeks. Past Roswell now.
A year or two, Palmer. It talks about it here on the screen. I just spotted it.
Yeah.
I just finished reading the rest of the story on this page.
It's not a year or two. It's the same month of the same year.
So everything happened in that same month. 2 weeks prior was Kenneth Arnold sighting, and
the Arnold sighting was prior to Roswell. Yeah, I think. Yeah, only just.
Well, hang on. Let's see if we can get a timeline thing up. No, we got that problem. Too many tabs. Come on. So yeah. Have we got a timeline for UFO cases? Would be really good. I wonder if we can find a timeline. For, I'll just say UFO cases. It'd be good if we can find a site that sort of puts it on reference. List of reported sightings. Okay, let's click on that one. A wiki page on it. Here we go. So we got a timeline here.
Yeah, okay, look.
Hang on. Okay, here we go. So we've got Battle of Los Angeles.
No. Listen, Paul, don't go to all that trouble. That's you're going right back to 1942 now, okay? All we need to know is the Kenneth Arnold sighting. Yeah, it was on the 24th of June, 1947.
There we go. So, it's on the screen now.
Okay.
Yep. So 21st of June was the Maury Island one, and the Kenneth Arnold one was actually 3 days after.
Yes.
Surely that's not.
Yes, it is, because Palmer didn't contact Arnold till after his sighting. So the incident occurred, but Arnold had no knowledge of it.
So what? The Arnold one wasn't before the Maury Island one, then?
No.
That's what this is. This is what
That's
this
right.
is saying.
That's correct, yeah. But Arnold got no attention.
Right.
Okay, if you could just hear me out now. Yeah, Arnold got no attention. Got no attention until his sighting on the 24th of June. And then he became inundated with letters and telephone calls, all wanting to know the story, and a lot of people asking him for favours. And he opened Palmer's letter, and Palmer was willing to pay the money up front for him to go and investigate this case, which had happened just a few days previous to Arnold's own case. And when the guy did come up with the money and paid up front, Arnold thought, why the hell not? Yeah, I'm interested in the subject. I'll go and investigate.
All right.
So that's the timeline.
It all happened in that month. The Roswell crash, it doesn't have a date here though. It's only got a month.
When they announced it, the Roswell crash, when they announced it to the press, was the 8th of June. Yeah.
Well, they haven't put it on this wiki page then. So after this 7th one, there's also.
Or was it July? Oh my God.
No, it was definitely June. It's all in the same month.
Yeah, okay then. Yeah, that's fair enough. It was the 8th of June when they announced it.
But you can see here on the screen the Kenneth Arnold one. There was another UFO sighting in between. Oh no, hang on. This is on the 7th.
The whole of 1947 was an absolute wave of UFO sightings.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
The other. At one point, the RAF, they weren't the RAF, sorry, it was the United States Army Air Force then. They were getting 500 calls a day.
Right.
At one point in that month, they were panicking.
Yeah.
They didn't know what to do.
Yeah, so let's just read the rest of that page here anyway. After the rain of metal, the craft rose into the air and headed west out to sea. Dale went to his boat and tried to radio for help, but it did not work. They sailed back toward their dock, dropping the dog over the side as a burial at sea. Dale took his son to hospital for treatment, and then told his boss. So, is there any paper record for them being at hospital?
Right, you know? That's an excellent point, Paul. Because the trouble is, Arnold was just a man who'd had the sighting. He wasn't a trained UFO investigator. Not only did he not get in touch with the neighbours, he didn't even go to the hospital, check the records of whether his son had been in. The only thing he did was he went to see the boat to see if there was any signs of damage. And what he did find, and he kept that in his diaries, his record, that there was signs of recent repair. So he said there had been damage, but that damage had been repaired, and it had been repaired recently. But he failed.
Now it's talking about. Yeah, carry on. It says here about a camera.
Oh,
he talks about a camera here next. Now, if they're watching this thing, he didn't say originally in the story up the top here that he was snapping pictures at the same time. Have they got pictures off the craft, or what pictures are they talking about?
No.
It says here.
Yeah, that was Chrisman when he went back the next day to see if there was any of these metals left on the beach. The UFOs made a return, but this time there was only 2 of them, of which Chrisman claimed to have taken several pictures of, but those pictures never seen the light of day. He claimed he'd lost them.
Right. So we'll just read the story here then. Dale gave Chrisman the camera, and when the prints were developed, they showed the strange airships. However, had spots on them, which he compared to film damaged by exposure to radiation. Chrisman said he did not believe Dale's story, but nevertheless he went back to Maury Island where they gathered some rock samples. He said, hang on, I got a message pop up here. Where was I getting to? Your dog is noisy.
He's going to get a slap.
Yeah. While he was gathering the rocks, one of the airships appeared overhead, and as if it was watching. Dale told investigators the next morning a man wearing a black suit visited them.
Yeah.
And suggested they go to breakfast together. Well, I've never heard of a man in black having food. That's the first. Dale drove his own car, following the stranger's new black Buick to the restaurant. While they ate, the stranger asked no questions. Instead, he gave a detailed account of what happened to Dale the next day before. The man in black warned Dale that bad things would happen to Dale and his family if he told anyone about the incident. Then it goes on. Dale and Chrisman sent a package to publisher Ray Palmer in Chicago a year or 2 later. Palmer founded Fake magazine. Fate,
yeah.
Fate, I mean. Not fake. The package contained a box of little fragments. Yeah, it's still going. Yeah, and statements about the strange happenings on the 21st and 22nd of July. I think I was saying June before. So that wiki page is in which date format? Hang on.
Yeah, Roswell was definitely July, you know.
But why's it got the 6 here? That's July 7, isn't it? As far as I know, July is 07, not 06. Is that a mistake on the wiki page?
Well, it must be Roswell. The day they announced that they'd recovered the flying disc was the 8th of July, 1947. No question.
Yeah, I can't trust that wiki page. We'll probably need to find another another better timeline page. So a few weeks
I've read
later,
about 10 books on Roswell, so I should know what the flaming date it is.
yeah, Palmer contacted Kenneth Arnold, seen flying saucers at Mount Rainier.
That's right. Cascade Mountains, they were, yeah.
UFOs. Arnold arrived in Tacoma in late July with airline pilot E.J. Smith. The two men met with Dell and Chrisman. It does sort of sound legit here, doesn't it? Examined Dell's boat and concluded interviews. Dell and Chrisman did not produce the pictures. However, Dell also told Arnold that his son had disappeared. And Dell said later
he appeared
that his son was found tables in Montana.
Yeah.
Found waiting on tables. Son was found waiting tables in Montana.
But had no idea how he got there.
Did not remember. But why would he be serving customers? Because they're saying he was waiting on tables. So how he got there? So that doesn't make sense. Hang on. But he could not remember how he got there. So Dell said later his son was found waiting tables in Montana. Doesn't that mean he's a waiter? Isn't that how it reads?
Yes.
And he can't remember who got there. The son? I think
Son claimed he had no idea how he got there.
Well, don't you find that a bit suspect of a fake story there? Surely you're lying. Why you'd be waiting on tables.
He's lying. He's lying. But who's told him? Who's told him to say that?
That's the men in black told him to lie, else his life will be ended. Do you reckon?
I'm not saying it's men in black. I'm just saying it could have been agents. You know, a men in black is just an agent in a suit, as far as I'm concerned. Nothing that mysterious about it at all.
No. In addition to being pilots, the two men were intelligence specialists. They met with Arnold Smith and Chrisman for several hours. One of the officers said that he thought there might have been something to the story, but they had to leave around midnight. They were in a hurry to be at Hamilton Field on August 1st.
Yeah, that's right, because
the day when
Air Force display.
Yeah, Air Force was to split from the Army. The two officers flew out of McCord Airfield around about 2 o'clock on a B-25 bomber with the crew of two other men. About 20 minutes later, the airplane crashed near Centralia, Washington. The two enlisted men managed to parachute safely, but Davison and Brown were killed, making the Air Force first casualties.
Okay. Something I'd like to add to that, Paul. Okay.
Carry on.
Right. Well, yes, those two bailed out. Yeah, the two passengers bailed out. Now, when they reached the ground, they looked up and they could still see that plane flying normally and holding altitude. And they could not understand for the life of them how the other two never bailed out as well. Or did they? Which is another conspiracy. Because according to them, they had the two that did make it to the ground. They had ample time to get out of that aircraft.
Yeah. So it goes on here also. Dale and Christman said the Air Force officers took some of the strange metal aboard. People thought they heard anti-aircraft guns shoot the plane down. Local newspapers and FBI received phone calls stating that the plane was shot down to cover up the information. Brown and Davison had found cover up the information they had found. Because of the loss of life, the Air Force broadened its investigation and FBI launched their own. The Air Force investigators determined that the crash had been a terrible accident. One of the engines caught fire. Why would the engine catch fire? That could have been a bird strike, I suppose, because that would have created a big bang noise. I don't know if you've ever seen that Scully movie.
Yeah.
Birds fly into the engines, and the engine almost explodes into bits because of the fans inside.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
well, I live right by an Air Force base, and one of my friends, he was a crash scene photographer, and he told me a lot of stories about bird strikes and the ones he had to go out to. You know, fortunately, most of the pilots had bailed out. Yeah, bird strike. Yeah, can cause an engine to explode. Yeah.
That could have been what the explosion sounds are here. So all it says here is another Air Force investigator spoke with Dale and Christman and visited their boat. He stated that the damage he saw did not match the damage the two sailors described. There were no piles of metal on Maury Island, and the existing samples looked like slag from a metal smelter. I mean,
That's right.
His conclusion matched that the FBI investigator that Dale and Christman had faked the incident to gain publicity for a magazine article. So did they actually get paid for that article?
No, because the article was ever printed.
Right. FBI warned Dale and Christman that their hoax had not succeeded, and if they dropped the matter, the government would not prosecute the two men for the frauds, which had resulted
but
in
they both
the death
disappeared. You know that they both disappeared.
Dale and Christman.
Yeah.
Or did they take off to Mexico because they didn't want to go to prison for hoax?
No, they did. They were told if they'd retract the story, there'd be no charges. Christman flew out to Alaska, and I can't remember when Dal went, but Dal swear to his deathbed that the event was true. But he was out of the way now.
Okay. FBI warned Dale and Christman their hoax had not succeeded. If they dropped the matter, the government would not prosecute the two men, which had resulted in deaths of the two officers. Well, that's what I read last time. At first, Dale and Christman went along. They made statements that the story was fake and simply refused to give interviews on the matter. But a few years later, in July 1950 issue of Fate, a magazine, Christman stated that the incident had happened, and Kenneth Arnold included Maury Island in his 1952 book. So he made money from it. They're coming off the sources.
Now, I don't know how much money he made, but that was only part of his book.
Right. It says today most people believe that Chrisman and Dell faked the incident, perpetrating a hoax that got out of control. Other people believe that the US government was behind a conspiracy that may have involved anything from UFOs to dumping nuclear waste in Puget Sound. They believe a shadow government agency sabotaged the B-52 bomber to eliminate the investigators and blame Dell and Chrisman. Some investigators recently visited the crash site, hoping to find some strange rocks. Wasn't it the guys from UFO Hunters? What's his name?
Yeah, Bill
William
Burns.
Bill. Yeah, his name's William Bill Burns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoping to find some strange rocks to prove things, but so far no answers have been found. But the story is a bit more stranger than that. Wasn't the president at the time involved in this case? He took interest into it. There was something about that.
The hearing went all the way to the Senate.
For the crash.
Yes. And because it was described as a tragic accident and that it was also a hoax that went horribly wrong. But there's more to it than this.
Yeah, of course. And we haven't covered some of the stories since on it. Oh, I just want to look at the president thing. And let me look up the president thing first. I can't remember what the president was at the time. What one it was. Was it Truman or something?
It would have been Truman in 1948, certainly, because he got re-elected in 1952, didn't he?
I can't remember. I'm not really good with facts like that.
Okay. And Truman was briefed quarterly on UFOs. We know that as a fact.
But he got involved in it. He actually sent men there, wasn't it? He was interested in the story.
Well,
maybe because of national security.
Yes, he was interested in UFOs for the reasons of national security, to the point where he was briefed quarterly during his tenure on that subject of UFOs. Not just the Maury Island case.
Yeah.
But there's another thing we have to look at now, and that's the history of Chrisman.
Oh, here we go. This one's got President Truman listed here. Okay. So let's have a look. Normally I have all the links ready for a presentation, but I wasn't prepared tonight. So they've got some drawings of the event here. The 6 UFOs. And the ship. Where's the dog? I can't see the dog.
He's dead.
And his son. His son's there. He's dead already, you reckon? See, guys? So, where did it talk about the present? Further down, probably.
Let me just pop FOIA.
Okay. Kenneth Arnold. So these are what the guys look like, or zoom into those. He's got a camera. He kind of looks like a movie star there, doesn't he? Air Force pilot, is he? June 24. So what's that one there? Oh, that's the guys they're talking about. Captain E.J. Smith, Kenneth Arnold, and First Officer Ralph Stevens. I don't remember that name being talked about. So what we got here? Captain William Davison. So he wasn't that old. First Lieutenant Frank Brown, military records. So they're the two guys that died, was it? Were called back to Northwest. So it's repeating a lot of stuff we already read. But where's the story about the present? I'll just zoom out again. So there's a bit more here. After the interview, we decided to check out the local area and see if we could find any further newspaper articles on the crash and the deaths of Captain Davison and First Lieutenant Frank Brown. According to a recent discovered article on the crash in Longville Daily article published shortly after the crash on 1st of August, entitled Springer Arrives to See Crash Scene. Some indication is given that there was an attempt to provide a different explanation for the officers' investigations. With this perhaps an early example of government disinformation. The article states, information reaching the daily newspapers concerning the flight tended to dispel rumors of flying discs or secret missions, indicating that the aviators Captain William Davison, San Francisco, and First Lieutenant Frank M. Brown of Vallejo, how do you say that? Vallejo, took off from McCord Field bound for Hamilton Field, California, early Friday morning to gain some night flying in time on their logbooks. This may have been one of the military's first attempt to cover up to the press. Settle Post-Intelligence article states a 4th Air Force officer verified Captain Davison and Brown's deaths, but stated that the report that their ill-fated bomber was returning with classified or secret material was just a flight of fancy. So there is some disinformation. I think he's still in the toilets. Still a mystery. And the new discoveries demonstrated that not all cases are investigated fully, and time may reveal more information on a mystery that remains as complex and unsolved today as it was almost 60 years ago. This incident serves to commend actions of officers that whether or not they believe the slag was legitimate or that the stories were contrived, these two intelligence officers took the witness and sightings seriously enough to interview the pilots and witnesses and risk their lives to secure what they believe to be evidence. This article is dedicated to the men and women who took the risk to find truth. So here it's saying on this article here, as you're away, that there was some.
I'm back now, Paul.
Yeah, that's one. I know you are. I can hear you.
Sorry.
This bit I just read out here was talking about government disinformation on this case.
Mm-hmm.
So it was saying down here, according to a recent discovered article on the crash in the Longview Daily article published shortly after the crash of August 1st, entitled Springer Arrives to see crash scene, some indication is given that there was an attempt to provide a different explanation for the officers' investigations, which was this perhaps an earlier example of government disinformation. So yeah, because it hasn't been fully investigated, they're saying here is that it could have actually happened. I don't know, but I couldn't find the bit about Truman and all that. It goes on a bit this page, you see.
Yeah.
It's quite a big, long page.
Yeah, I can't actually read it off the screen either. It's just illegible. It's blurred out.
Yeah, I'll paste it down the side for people anyway.
Okay.
But the story got even stranger recently. So if we go back, I'll paste this one too. Okay, and I'll go back. Apparently, the daughter of, is it Chrisman or Dell? Which one is it? Dell. The daughter of one of them come out and said that the dog wasn't killed and the whole story was made up. So see if we can find information on that. Also, the reporter said, can we trust what she's saying?
No.
Well, I don't know. Unless they got a picture of the dog still alive, I don't know. So let's see if we can find a bit on the daughter. I did cover it on an old episode, like ages ago. That's the first time I ever heard that it was actually a hoax, because I've seen so many TV shows on it. None of them even talked about any hoax apart from, not even UFO hunters talked about it being a hoax, did they? Well, they certainly didn't talk about the daughter anyway.
No, but it was widely considered shortly after the time of the incident and the investigation, the foregoing investigation, it was widely considered by maybe 70% of UFO researchers to be a hoax. But not so much today.
I'm just seeing if I can find the article about. Could be this one here. Let's have a look. Is it going to load for us though? All these sites have a lot of ads on the side and really tiny writing. I don't know how anyone reads it on even higher pixels than I've got here. This is 1080p on my screen. Again, there'll be lots of information on the page for looks of it. It's taking forever to load. Seattle PI. Is that private eye? PI.
Mm-hmm.
How do we search this? We want to get the bit about the daughter. Might be in the wiki page, I guess. Daughter hoax. There are a lot of inconsistency in the story about the hot metal coming down, breaking the arm, and burning the arm. I think if it was molten lava coming at you, it would burn a hole straight through you, wouldn't it?
Unless it was a glancing blow.
Yeah. I suppose it's possible. Well, let's see what the wiki page says. They may have added it on there. Not much on the wiki page on it.
No, you won't find much on wiki, anything to do with UFOs. You're only going to get a debunk, basically.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the stuff that the daughter said. And also there was a thing about the magazine where he said, told him that it was a hoax. But there was a lot of question about that he was going to say it was a hoax because he didn't want any trouble over it or something, wasn't it?
Well, he would have got trouble over it.
He was going. So he said it was a hoax. So I don't know. I need to find that little bit. Oh, here we go. Raymond Palmer, who is often credited with inventing the concept of the UFO, began Fate magazine in 1948 with the cover story by Arnold on his investigation of Maury incidents as well. Nearby alleged UFO sightings. The pair also wrote a book, Coming Off Sources, and they knew too much about flying saucers. Helped to popularize the Men in Black. An account also appeared in the debunked Majestic 12 documents. Debunked? Well, it's not really debunked though, isn't it? Majestic 12 documents which claim that the metal fragments were part of a nuclear reactor and that they were subsequently turned over to the CIA. Well, that's a nuclear reactor, and that's something different than aluminum or aluminium, as we call it here, smelter.
No, slag metal.
So already slag metal, yeah. The story's changed there. A nuclear reactor doesn't have slag metal, does it?
Does it?
Also
How?
cited that Maury Island incident with Arnold samples in 19. Dale's story was told in 2014 short story The Mort. In 2017, the Washington State Senate passed a resolution acknowledging the 7th anniversary of the incident. I'm pretty sure there was a lot more stuff on that wiki page at some stage. I just think they've been cutting stuff out.
I bet they have.
So why can't we find the stuff on the daughter? UFO. Definitely Google's definitely changed the search algorithm because it used to be easier to find stuff. Now it seems to be very hard to find the stuff you once read years ago.
Depends what it relates to.
Yeah. Daughter, Ford, dog, not dead. I don't know how many keywords we need. See, it's coming up with the same lists.
Exactly.
Must include daughter. I'm pretty sure it was his daughter. So here we go. We got a UFO hoax, no longer a mystery. Let's have a look at this 2010 one. I think I took some screen snapshots off a particular web page anyway on that old episode I did. I put it on the tail end of Boyd Bushman one, like a small clip about it being a fraud or a hoax, and the daughter come out with a story. Maybe it's on this one, UFO hoax exposed. So let's have a look.
Oh, I can actually read this.
After 6 decades, the truth has emerged about the infamous Maury Island UFO incident. Blah, blah. It was a hoax. It finds its roots in fiction and fantasy, as revealed in candid and damning interviews with Maury Island UFO witness Harold Dale's own son and daughter. The hoax is further detailed in a careful re-examination of the mysterious figure Fred Chrisman. It is alleged that in June of, so it says June here though, June of 1947, Seaman Harold Dale was with his son scavenging for drifting logs near Maury Island and Puget Sound in Washington State when Harold sighted several donut-shaped objects flying in formation. So we've heard that already, spewing out slag and strange pieces of light material. Killed the family dog. His story was reported to co-worker Fred Chrisman and was later promoted by publisher Ray Palmer, which we've talked about already.
Yeah.
So further down, the event which stirred the imagination of many was itself born of imagination. It simply never happened. Harold Dale's own family and saga perspective of history is now revealed. The only reality about the incident was it was conjured up in the mind of an enterprising and attention-craving 27-year-old schemer and amateur fiction writer. Maury Island. So that's a donut shape they're talking about. This incredible sighting was alleged to have occurred on June 21st. So where did we get July? Oh, all right, here we go, down here. It wasn't until July 22nd.
That's right, when it was investigated. That's where the confusion comes in.
And that's where the dates go wrong as well.
That's right.
On the timelines. Published amazing stories. So we've sort of covered that. Sighting just weeks before, here we go. Just days before pilot Kenneth Arnold's seminal sighting and just weeks before the Roswell crash. So days before he saw the UFO skipping, 8 of them, wasn't it, skipping on the clouds. Then the Maury Island thing happened. Then the Maury Island thing happened, and then just weeks before the Roswell crash. So the Roswell crash come after these 2 events. No real verification exists. No real verification exists of this except the say-so of Chrisman and Dale. It was not until July 22nd when Kenneth Arnold himself received a letter from Ray Palmer, publisher of Amazing Stories, requesting that he investigate the incident. That became publicly known. It was still when Army Air Corps officers come to investigate the event at the best set of Arnold. So it took a month later for them to investigate it. Dale reports,
Yeah.
dependent.
But see how quick they were to come out. They came out on the same day. So they must have believed there was something to this for them to fly out there on the same day.
That's right. But it would be a security risk, wouldn't it? So Dell reports, depending on the source, have obscured between 4 to 6 donut-shaped metallic discs about 100 feet in diameter. He said that he could see circular portholes around them with blue sky showing through the craft center holes. The UFOs, Dell said, had been flying together in a pattern from about 2,000 feet down to just 500 feet. So we sort of read all this before. After the hot slag from the crippled the disc rained down on the boat, boy and dog, and damage was assessed. The dead dog was buried at sea, and the boy apparently sustained a burned arm. Rather than calling an official resource, Daryl elected to immediately contact his co-worker about the incident. The co-worker with whom he retrieved errant floating logs for return to a sawmill to be used as raw lumber was one Fred Christman. Christman seemed to control the information about the incident from the beginning and allegedly even wrote letters to Endon. Is it Endon? Oh. It's gone over this edge here, this way. To inquiries about the incident on behalf of Dell or pretending to be Dell himself. Christman, whom it will be shown was a hustler and pathological deceiver, held a strange hold on the Mika Dell. This is especially interesting in that it had been confirmed that it was Christman who actually worked for the older Dell. Little appreciated is that Christman was an adventurous, some 27-year-old at the time of the incident. It was in fact Dell who had title to and owned the vessel used for salvaging, which was fine condition and not decrepit, as some various reports reported. Dell was an independent businessman, sometimes working in tandem with the Harbour Patrol Association. So, still, Dell was somehow induced to go along with a lot of things said by Christman. Dell even later stated that he had taken photos of the sources. When asked by Kenneth Arnold to produce them, Dell went out to his car where he said that he had stored them in the glove compartment, but reported back that he could not find them. Christman would state some 20 years later that he too had copies, but could not find them. So their photographs disappeared, according to what they're saying. Dale also stated that he was visited the day after his UFO sighting by men in black, driving a 1947 black Buick. The mystery man told Dale that he best keep silent. So we've sort of covered all that before, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So let's get down to where it's sort of revealed as a hoax. When evaluated, the flying saucer debris material itself was found to be totally terrestrial. It was likely volcanic or mill slag. It possessed no unusual characteristics to make anyone seriously believe. So that wiki page talking about radiation from a nuclear plant, that's just rubbish then in that case.
Not just that. It's not just that. it was also that apparently this scrap metal was never recovered from the wreckage of the aircraft crash.
Which is also strange.
Yes.
Yes. So does it mean that it was taken off the plane before the crash? Or someone went there to clean up the crash and also took the metal?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Pilot Kenneth Arnold, though not a trained investigator, said that the metal part of the debris reminded him of aluminium, or aluminum, as the Americans say, scrap. That he even had noted a square rivet on one piece. So that sort of makes it a bit strange. Does that mean aliens use rivets?
Don't think so.
The witness, who was not Charles Denial. Charles Dell's Denial. In all retellings of Maury Island tale, it's said that Harold Dell, then 15-year-old son Charles Dell, had come along for the ride on one of the log retrieval expeditions. It is further alleged that during the encounter, one of the saucer had ejected slag material that hit and severely burned Charles' arm, requiring medical treatment. There is only one problem with this stunning scenario. Charles Dell himself said that it never happened. That would be good to have it on interview if there's an audio tape of him saying that. The very child who was supposedly struck by slag from a saucer as an adult says that he was never even there. He was likely as perplexed as all of us about why his father would even have included him in such a tale, but he gives a clue as to why this may be so, describing an amateur, how do you say that word, Segavali named Fred Chrisman. How do you say that word?
Svengali.
Amateur Svengali. What's that mean? I've never come across that word before. Named Fred Chrisman. Is that
no.
Obviously Italian, isn't it? Italian?
And
it's now you probably have to Google it. It's now known that Howard's claim and sudden change in behavior were upsetting to the Dell family.
Okay, Bengali meaning?
Yeah.
A person who exercises a controlling or mesmeric influence on another, especially for a sinister purpose.
There must have been a hoax then, by sounds of that then, and they're after money, and it got out of hand. So, some time ago, a husband and wife research team located Charles Dell and conversed with him about the incident. Kalami undertaken to closely examine the lives of Fred Chrisman and Howard Dell. He and his Kati-suki-kan. How do you say that word? Kati-yuska. He and his Kati-yuska had, in fact, even managed to locate Howard Dell's son. So that's another word I don't know what that means here. But anyway.
I can't even find that.
Who has since passed. When found in research at his home in Hammond, LA, Charles Dell spoke sparingly and cautiously to the Hanos, but he did confirm for them that Chrisman was a smooth talker, talking con artist, for whom he had no respect, and Charles directly and unequivocally confirmed to them that the Maury Island incident was a hoax. It is evident that Charles Dale did not like Chrisman for having involved him and his father in the whole thing. Likely embarrassment by his father Harold having been so easily and so fully taken in and influenced by Chrisman, Charles rarely spoke about the event, even to the family. Charles Dale was curiously never interviewed at the time of the event. To verify Charles had medical treatment to begin for being struck and burnt by falling hot slag. So that was my question way at the beginning. On the very face of it, the account makes no sense. If a child suffered the horrendous impact of a rock and metal raining down upon him from hundreds of feet above, so hot that it burned skin and falling so fast that it killed an animal, I have to go back. Child would probably have been killed. Minimally, the boy would have been permanently disabled, and there appeared to be no police, fire, or property or accident insurance records that would support the occurrence of the incident, and described as will be shown next. Charles' own sister said that her brother was never maimed in such a way. My voice is going. There's a lot of reading there, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, hang on, I just need a sip of a drink. I don't think anyone's watching, are they? I think we scared them off with all the glitches and slowness that we're having. But it's been going all right. So I think it's as the night's gone on, it's got better. Maybe it's to do with yeah, it's definitely a lot better now. I think it must be a Google thing. Maybe there was too many people on streaming at that time or something.
That's possible. That would slow it down.
I haven't heard any strange clicking sounds apart from your dog walking there, of course, and you typing. But so we're down to here. Based on his research and his interview of Charles Dale, Hanno says, if there is a term that continually characterizes Fred Chrisman, the term would be con man. And accuracy is apparently vouched for by respected researcher Jeremy Clark, who also briefly notes that Hanno Dale interview in Strange Skies. Little known too is the stringer and informant for the FBI met with Harold Dale at his house. Dale's wife was very upset and perplexed by her husband's tale and was heard to say, "Quit lying about this." She then attacked Dale with a knife. Domestic violence there. And the father's lies and Chrisman's scheming were obviously not welcomed by Dale's wife and his son. The father's behaviour under Chrisman's spell seemed to have brought them to the breaking points. Dale's daughter, my brother was not burned by a UFO. So it goes on a bit here. So let's go through it. I don't think anyone's ever covered Maury Island in such a long time.
I've got more input as well.
Okay, more recent confirmation comes from Dale's daughter, who is still living. She too says that nothing ever happened. She echoes the information obtained by Hanno's interview with her brother Charles. Here we go. We've got some other names. Bakotic Maiden mentioned anything at all about. Hang on, did I miss a line there? Where did I go? Maiden name Louise Dell. Okay. In Grays Harbor County in Washington State is now nearly 80 years old. She stated flat out to Seattle Post Intelligence Settle PI reporter on April the 23rd, 2007 that her brother Charles did not have such an encounter. Still clear-headed, she told journalist Cassie, there was a lot of name dropping in here, McNerney and others who have inquired, that her brother never mentioned anything at all about the mysterious death of their family dog, or that he was ever injured by hot slag in such a incident. It would have been a traumatic event that she surely would have remembered had it happened to one of her own brothers. Charles was never rushed to hospital for emergency treatment of burns. Louise was just a couple of years older than Charles at the time of the Maury Island sighting and knew nothing of her brother's involvement. She dismisses the whole thing as ridiculous. It's likely Louise Dale is telling the truth. She should be supporting the Maury story in support of her father, not denying it. And Dale's daughter did not come forward with information. Rather, she was sought out and approached. So, untainted, she was speaking about this, and one person had to mail her to her the details on the event she never knew or believed to have happened. And it is, of course, inconceivable that no such event really transpired. Louise would not recall the loss of her own family dog knocked dead at sea. It's equally inconceivable that she would not remember simultaneous burning and wounding of her own brother. So it would have mentally scarred her for life. So, given the venomous characterization of Chrisman by her brother, we likely have the answer. When she much later learned all the details and hoopla surrounding the incident, Louise probably realized just how impressionable, trusting, and easily drawn in her beloved father had been as a young man. Like her late brother, she surely wishes her dad had never got involved in such a man as Chrisman, who took advantage of someone for self-gain. So how much more do we have to read of this? I think that sort of nails it, though, doesn't it, as a complete hoax, if you got the brother and sister saying it never happened.
Well, no, the brother and sister could, they could have easily been influenced. But there's more to the story than this. I mean, it has not mentioned at one stage yet about Fred Chrisman during the Second World War was quite a well-known OSS. Well, he wouldn't have been well-known, but he was a well-decorated OSS agent.
He's an agent.
OSS, which is, if you know, was the forerunner to the CIA.
So he was a CIA agent. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
This guy here.
Yeah, that's Fred right, Fred Chrisman. Yeah, and not only that,
even though
he was also found to be working.
Proven in paperwork?
Yes, I believe so. I believe so. You could try typing it in. I'll try myself. And he was later during the 60s, found to be one of the tramps at the grassy knoll during the Kennedy assassination.
But isn't this guy? They said it was his.
Bit of a game changer, isn't it?
But that was his mate that helped him out on the boat. Was that? Or have I got the wrong person now?
No, Fred Chrisman.
Was this the guy?
Was not the guy on the boat.
No, he's the guy that helped him on the boat.
He was his foreman,
wasn't it?
He was the supervisor.
Yeah, but he helped also with the login, didn't it say in the article? Well, have I got the wrong person now? Anyway.
Dahl was the one who made the original claim.
He was similar to such later-day con men as Richard Doty, Bob Lazar, Phil Corso, and Gordon Thing. So the guy who wrote this article here thinks all these guys are frauds. Well, Doty is. Bob Lazar, we got still a question mark. Phil Corso, not too sure who he is. What did he do?
Philip Corso.
And Gordon Novel. Corso. What was he involved in?
Oh my God, he's the one who wrote the book The Day After Roswell.
Oh, that guy. And Gordon, what's this one here? So he's calling Phil Corso The Day After Roswell a con man. And Gordon Novel?
Not sure.
He is a crook? Who's a crook?
Corso was a crook, in my opinion.
Phil Corso was a crook?
Well, I mean, he wrote that book. It was just science fiction.
Oh, right, was it?
Yeah, he's the guy who reckons we got night vision from aliens.
Right.
Fiber optics from aliens, amongst many other things. And he claimed to be in places where he just couldn't have possibly have been at the time. His book is littered with errors, and not only that, he was going to write the book on his adventures as an undercover officer during the Second World War in Italy, but his publisher told him, "Look, it's a good book, but it's not really going to sell. You're going to need something more sensational than this." Then all of a sudden he claimed to know all about Roswell.
Yeah.
So it's a bit suspicious for a start. That's Corso for you anyway. Corso is kind of splits the field into some people believe him, some people think he's I know oh good God, how can I forget his name? He's almost the father of ufology. Stanton Friedman, he had him down as a hoax all the way.
Is that the Palmer guy here? He's a very small guy.
Right, Palmer, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's just an editor. It's Christmas. It's Christman I'm talking about, who was involved in the CIA.
Oh, here we go.
Harold Christman.
And Christman was no secret agent either. Christman's own son said that he did not believe that his father was CIA. There you go.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't have been able to tell him that anyway, would he?
Yeah. But you're starting to sound like a UFO fraud channel if you say that.
No, I'm sorry, but it's...
Yeah, you can twist it around all you want, I guess. They never had enough money for that to have been true. So they reckon that they weren't very rich.
Okay.
The most sinister thing about Chrisman is that he needlessly involved others in his attention-grabbing schemes. Chrisman's folly caused 2 people to get involved in a hoax who were killed in an air accident. These officers, Captain Davison and Lieutenant Frank Brown, lost their lives. So we know all that already. So the son's denying he's a CIA agent. So yeah, we don't.
There's evidence.
No matter how you. Yeah, carry on.
There's evidence to suggest otherwise. What is Harold Chrisman? It is Harold Chrisman, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll do a search. That's all's on that page. Did I paste it on the side? That's quite a good read, that one. I pasted it down the side, so if you want to read it yourself and look into it more. Okay. Me, I'm still thinking that it's a hoax.
Me too. Me too. I certainly do believe it's a hoax. But I do believe there was multiple agencies involved, and they weren't completely convinced it was a hoax at the time, because it's Fred Chrisman, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we can do a search.
Yeah. Right then.
You've suddenly got loud again. Is it me that's gone loud?
Oh, sorry. No. I leant a bit closer to the. Is that better now?
No, it's still loud.
Okay.
My volume's the same.
I'll try and keep my voice down a little bit if I can.
I'm not too sure what your sound's going up and down though. It's crazy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I've got a Wikipedia article here for Fred Chrisman.
Yeah, I was going to do a search on it.
Yeah, you see, in 1969, Chrisman was subpoenaed by Jim Garrison to testify in the case against Clay Shaw in the John F. Kennedy assassination. So he was obviously somehow involved in.
So it says here that Chrisman drew upon elements of genuine UFO encounters such as Arnold's and Roswell, because Chrisman was good at copying. Chrisman was not capable of such original recounting as would be found in real UFO sighting. He does sound like that it was all made up. Secret agents.
Yeah. From what I'm reading here as well, he's a very shadowy character. It's difficult to really make out his true identity. I mean, he actually claimed here in a magazine that he'd battled mysterious and evil underground creatures to free himself from the cave in Burma during World War II. So the guy is sounding like a complete kook, but he was actually subpoenaed over the JF Kennedy assassination. So, but a photocopy document.
Yeah, but if he's a nut job, he probably would have made up stories with that as well, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to get attention, you see.
It's time you hosted
So,
the radio talking to it.
That was on the Wikipedia, was it?
Yeah, it's a Wikipedia site. Yeah.
Agent.
It's far from cut and dry. There's just one more thing I'd like to put forward on this case. Are you hearing me, Paul? Okay. Well,
yeah.
Nicholas Bedfern, just a few short years ago, he done like a reinvestigation of the Maury Island incident, and he discovered, and I only heard this in a radio interview with him. I haven't actually read his book, shame on me. But what Nick claimed on the interview, that during his research, after the inquiry was complete and it was discovered to be a hoax, and the deaths were, you know, a tragic, you know, side effect of this hoax. And take into account also, I'm sure you're aware of this, but oh God, I've forgotten his name now. And the main man who went to investigate, who had the sightings over the Cascade Mountains.
Don't ask me names because I'm no good. I'm no good at names.
Yeah.
You mean Kenneth Arnold?
Kenneth Arnold, of course. Thank you for that. I've got a few things written down here, and I've got them all. I should have known that off my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a few things written down here, and I've got a bit jumbled up. Well, anyway, Nick Redfern claimed that after the inquiry had all been done and dusted, 2 press officers, two journalists in Maury Island wrote articles claiming cover-up. Okay? Now, these are both relatively young men, and were killed. One was a suicide, and one was an accident, apparently. And they were extremely, according to Redfern, they were extremely baffling and didn't add up. So that kind of adds a little bit of spice again. I've read a couple of Redfern's books, and he's very thorough, and so I don't know, but it's just another little bit on the story that makes it even more. The whole thing, I don't know what the hell to make out of it. It's just, I mean, Arnold's fuel line was cut. He had to crash land in he was so paranoid at this time. By the time he left Maury Island, he checked the plane over thoroughly himself, but of course he didn't refuel it himself, and he found that his fuel line was cut. So he only made it. Luckily, he got into the air at an altitude. When the engine cut out, he managed to land it safely in a plane. So who the hell would want to kill Arnold? You know, so it's just not cut and dry like we think it is.
Well, if you read this one here, extended ISEC easy agent, it talks about here, Chrisman returned to training at Fort Lewis, Washington. Surely there'd be records of that.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily in the intelligence service, no.
How do you say that word? ISEC easing section. What does that mean?
I can't see.
I don't think I'm saying it right.
I can't see the page you're looking at.
Can't see what it's. I know it's one I found in the search. I'll paste it down the side if you want to look at it.
Okay.
This one's all on Harold Chrisman. It's actually in the online Faked magazine. This is Faked magazine that we're talking about.
Okay.
It's an article in the Fate magazine about him.
How do you spell that again, Paul? Is it IC?
Let's see. I'll zoom in. I've pasted it down the side here if you want to click on it.
No.
If it's called ISICE easy section. ISICE. I suppose that's how you say it. ISICE. I suppose it's like international security. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so
here
it's ISIC easy section.
Here we go. Here we go. A subsection of internal security known. Hang on, what's it saying here? It does exist and is a subsection of internal security known as a disruption planning center.
Okay.
Chrisman is a trained disruption agent and has worked in several fields. Chrisman interchanged duties with NSA, Fort Sill in Oklahoma, Boeing Company in Seattle, where he caused great amount of disruption at Boeing. So he's a disinformation artist.
God almighty.
Disruption. It gets even more complex now. So he's a disruption agent. Maybe that's
the plot thickens.
Yeah, I wonder if Security 10 is a disruption agent.
God, not a very good one.
Chrisman became instrumental in Washington State school system. So perhaps it's possible his son didn't know that he was a disruption agent.
Absolutely possible. You're not supposed to pass these things on to your mum, your dad, and anybody.
No. It's very strange, but this guy was, you said, the foreman of Dell. And yet he's a disruption agent, and then he creates the story of UFOs. Yeah. So it's sort of all crazy. You couldn't even invent it if you wanted to.
This is the whole thing that absolutely draws me in about the case. It's just I mean, right from the start, where Kenneth Arnold couldn't even find a hotel, and when he does find a spare room, he finds it's already paid 2 weeks in advance for him. I mean, what kind of power was working there? They obviously had a few quid.
Unless Chrisman did it.
Yeah, but how would he manage? How would he manage to convince every other, guy at the hotel to say sorry? All our rooms are full, which apparently was highly unusual at that time of year.
Well, he may have told him that he was a CIA agent. And he needed
God, here we go.
So the real story is,
we haven't got a clue.
He made the story up. No, the real story is Chrisman made up the whole story and got Dell to be the fall guy for it. Well, the actor for it.
Yes, I think
so. And includes his son and whatnot. And of course, Chrisman is probably a real disruptor agent, as they're claiming, because he caused a lot of trouble in other companies. That he thought he could make some money out of this because of the Arnold story a couple of days beforehand, wasn't it? And so he made up the story, and he probably went around the hotel saying, "Oh, don't allow this guy to stay here. He's maybe a terrorist or something." I don't know what you called it back in those days. He may have told him that he's a Russian. He might have said he's a Russian spy. Don't let him stay in your hotel.
Well, he was obviously he's obviously manipulative.
Yeah. I reckon he's made up the whole story, and Maybe he did it for a laugh. Maybe he did it for money.
Both for money would
And
be
maybe
yeah.
They didn't find any hospital records. Well, let's go through the checklist. The evidence was the hotel room was booked. We know that.
All of them.
What other facts do we know? Yeah. And all the other ones were influenced to turn away. And what other facts can we prove the story? That was it. That's it, isn't it? And that they're saying here that he's confirmed disruptor agent.
Yeah, well, we can also confirm that the plane crashed with the 2 OSI agents on, yeah?
Yep. And what can't we confirm? That there was metal aboard?
There was certainly metal aboard, but we don't know where that metal went. Or if it was ever recovered.
And yet they're saying...
We can't understand.
But how do they know it was from us? Yeah, but they must have looked at the metal to know it was... How did they know it was a slag? Who looked at it beforehand?
They didn't know it was. They didn't know it was a slag. There's another piece because the 2 OSI agents, the ones that had flown over to see Arnold, drove him over to the slag metal site and said, "Look, it's all a hoax. This is where they got it from." And Arnold said, "Hold on, that doesn't look like the stuff I've seen. Can I get out and compare the two?" The OSI agent says, "No, don't you think this has gone further enough?" and drove him off. That is Arnold's testimony and his only. The other 2 guys the next day weren't alive to tell their tale.
No. But you got the son and daughter now saying it never happened and the dog was fine. There's no hospital records, and I'm not sure how well it was kept back in 1947.
No, I'm sure minor injury would have soon disappeared over the years.
Yeah, so they ain't got like computer records back then, and obviously I know some records were lost in. I know some records were lost in fires and stuff in hospitals and other hospitals. So
and destroyed after a certain period of time.
So the hospital thing is not really there or pro or con. It can't really. It's sort of stuck in the middle. And apart from the sister saying that he hadn't gone to hospital, that's the only thing we got. So is she lying? We don't know. So I don't know. It's sort of a real twisty case where it's clear cut that it's a hoax, and then you turn it around and you think maybe it's all a big cover up. And why?
Yeah.
Maybe because they were threatened, or their lives were threatened.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were paid a large sum of money, to put the case to rest by saying it was a hoax.
Absolutely.
So it's all possible.
There's another thing another thing that's unclear as well. That Dahl said distinctly that there was 2 types of metal. There was one that was floating, like paper, like a sheet of newspaper. Yeah, extremely light.
Yeah, they said on the story. They said one was silver, and the other one was hot and black. That's
right, and heavy, and resembling molten rock. So what happened to the other? What happened to the other more intriguing light metals? Were they ever recovered and analysed? I don't know.
Yes, possible. They could have sent divers there, or the Men in Black could have sent divers there to reclaim it all. it wouldn't be too hard to spot it all at the bottom of the sea if you got deep sea divers there. But
absolutely, yeah.
how come no one saw them unless they did it in the middle of the night, which makes it even harder? I don't know. It's a bit hard to tell.
Yeah,
You'd have to look how deep the lake is, I guess. Maybe it could be like Loch Ness, where it's sort of bottomless. It keeps going into big depths at certain places, and you never know what's at the very bottom because we can't go that deep. That's why the Loch Ness monster story lives on, because there's such deep places.
Oh, it's miles and miles deep in places there, yeah. But no, this was just a harbour.
They can't. Yeah, so it should have had a shoreline, shouldn't it? So I don't know. So
oh God, I'm just going to go off for a second because there's a loud knock on my door.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I thought maybe we're finished with this though. I don't think there's much more we can really talk about it. I think we've sort of covered it. So 70% researchers think it's a fake, and 30% say it's a real clever cover-up. So who thinks Maury Island is legit? Well, I should put UFO on it. Does anyone actually believe it's legit? Apart from Secure Team 10. So that's saying mythology. It's certainly been going on a long time, since 1947. So he was talking about Nick. Yeah, so that must be the one. History Channel. I saw the story of Men in Black, the mysterious figures that would become the subject of fascination in UFO conspiracy circles, eventually break into mainstream popular culture and can trace back to one day, June 27, 1947. It's quite possible that it all started with a man, a boy, and a dog on a boat. This story goes, Harold Dow was on conservation mission on the Puget Sound near the eastern shore. So we sort of covered that story already. No point in reading it out for a third or fourth time. Okay. So yeah, I was just trying to find who actually believes. Oh, that's loud.
Sorry.
This is Mayo. Was that Maury? More.
Maury Island.
I'm not sure if I'm saying it correct or not.
Maury.
Has fueled conspiracy theories to this day, even though a US government investigation deemed it a hoax after Dow and Crimson later admitted as much. In particular, the mention of the man in black suit would evolve into a key obsession for UFO enthusiasts and spread into American pop culture, thanks to the comic book series and blockbuster movie trilogy. Oh, the Men in Black movie. In all their different incarnations, the Men in Black usually have one main purpose: to muzzle witnesses of strange paranormal phenomena. They almost always wear black suits and hats with dark sunglasses, drive black cars, and arrive in groups of 2 or 3. Some describe them as one would be a FBI agent, while others recall the Men in Black as having strange appearances, sometimes with supernatural features like glowing eyes and strange complexations.
Yeah.
So, well, at least Chrisman invented the Men in Black. That's what he's famous for, I guess.
Style.
Even though he was disruption agent, according to the other link that we just had. We got someone on. Walter, hello. Whereabouts are you from? America? What's the time in America now? It must be early morning over there on Friday. So yeah, we've sort of been going a while on this UFO incident in Maury Island. Must be at least a couple of hours on that one. It's quite a big subject, really, when you break it down and go through all the evidence or lack of evidence. So yeah, I did a search to see who actually believes the Maury Island UFO incident, and still not picking up anyone that's willing to stick their neck out and say it's true, apart from conspiracy YouTube channels.
Yeah.
Definitely, everywhere talks about it being a hoax. So, but it is a complex story. That's for sure. It's a crazy story.
Mental.
Now, if Chrisman wasn't a disruption agent, aka CIA, well, part of CIA, that's just this crazy part in the whole story, I think. But like you said, he made up stories about creatures when he was in the jungle of Burma, wasn't it? So he's got a wild imagination.
Well, whether
but
he
why would
told those stories to his superiors on is another thing, but that's certainly what he told Palmer at Fate magazine, and those stories were printed as well.
Yeah. So what's the story? Let's see if we can find that story on him anyway. Harold Chrisman. Our key's not working. Come on.
It's I'll tell you where you're going wrong there. It's Fred Chrisman.
Oh, I thought it was Harold.
That's Harold Dahl. Yeah, Harold Dahl.
Ah, right.
Easy
Two
done.
names up. Yeah. Wartime stories. So Chrisman had written to Amazing Stories magazine, so he's actually published a few stories before then.
Yeah, he was
battle creatures to free himself. I'm just reading the. I think it is all a hoax. It's crazy though. I think
It's
because
not,
of his personality, the con man and storytelling fits very well for being a disruptive agent as a job. You know, you
it
want to send
fits like
someone
a
in,
glove, Paul. Yeah, it does.
the personality's there for that particular job. It's like government hire the same people to work in unemployment centres, like miserable people that tell you to go away, and get a job. But yeah, you find the same personality traits. You know, like banks hire the same kind of people, really, and they've hired the same people to be managers at least. That very psychopathy type people and control freaks that I don't know. I worked for banks and I didn't enjoy it very much because of the personalities. But this guy sounds just like perfect for a disruptive agent or a disinformation agent. But why would he go to Bowen to cause havoc there? What were they doing? That would be where they need a disruptive agent to be there. What was Bowen do that they needed something to be sort of disinformation or covered up? That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. You'd think Boeing would be, you know, an integral part of the country's propulsion process and new aircraft design and what have you. I have no idea what he was doing there and why he was doing that.
Has it actually got any pictures of this creature that he battled?
Oh dear.
Let's see. Well, there's a picture of him. But has he drawn any pictures? Not seen anything with his picture and his wartime stories. Amazing stories. There it is. That's the one he wrote to. The magazine he wrote to. Battle Creatures.
Good God. It's a 100-foot
So he
lion.
must have, so he obviously read this magazine. Look, it's got UFOs in it. That's where he got the idea from. Monsters. Mars attacks. What's that one? Submarine. Yeah, I think it's all a fabricated story. Look, a robot thing cutting down trees. That looks like Thunderbirds. Survivors from 9000 BC. Yeah, I think he's a storyteller. So obviously he was trying to sell the story to the media, because if he was writing stories with so-called wartime dramas, that sort of adds more to that he was trying to make a big story here to make money from, or probably sell movie rights or TV rights or whatever. How much money did he make? I'm probably ain't going to get the information, are we?
No, it's not going to be easy, that. I think you need to read a specialist book if someone's done an autobiography of him.
Well, the Sun said they weren't rich, so obviously he wasn't making lots of money and spending it on the family. So
Not
that was in the
surprised
other
with that.
article, though. Conspiracy fans think someone is killing off the world's top UFO. Metro.co.uk. UK. That must have been Security 10 thing again, I guess. FBI's real-life X5 documents strange connection between UFOs. The muckrack. The man's name was Fred Lee Chrisman. There you go. Let's have a look at that one. Looks like Volta. And he just said hello, but he's buggered off. So maybe it's at work or something. Oh, yeah, it's talking about that Chrisman and JFK assassination.
Yeah.
Years ago, I heard rumors about some of the FBI's older files, which were curiously labeled SMX or Security Matter X, like the X-Files. These dealt with some strange topics. The two examples I was told about were UFOs and L. Ron Hubbard. This, of course, was too strange to not file a Freedom of Information request for, but the FBI denied being able to find the records. For obvious reasons, I wasn't eager to begin a big fight over the existence of secret files on alien invasions based on a rumor, so I took a different route, requesting the FBI file for one of the people involved in a lot of the strange stories, including the Maury Island incident, cited as an example of one of the SMX files. Should play the X-File music. So, the man's name was Fred Lee Chrisman, and he every bit as weird as a character from the X-Files. Throughout his life, Chrisman appeared at least half a dozen conspiracy theories and stories of high weirdness. One of his strange stories apparently involved freeing himself, here we go, from a cave in Burma during World War II, where he was held by evil underground creatures. From there, the stories around him just get stranger. The story of Chrisman and Security Matter X begins with the aforementioned Maury Island incident, an alleged UFO sighting and crash that occurred about a month before. Well, it wasn't really a crash, plane crash. That occurred about a month before the events at Roswell. According to various versions of the legend, Maury Island involved one or two more UFOs that dropped either something or disintegrated, and the fragments of which damaged Chrisman's boat, killed a dog, and according to some versions hurt someone. So we've sort of covered that. The story gained additional coverage when government plane crashed. And we sort of covered that. So here we go. Blind disc cited by Fred Chrisman and Harold Dell, Washington, SMX. So they did release the document on it. Here, what's it say here? Dell did not admit to Smith that his story was a hoax, but only stated that if questioned by authorities, he was going to say it was a hoax because he did not want any further trouble over the matter. So that even puts another spin to the story. Are you there, Scott?
Yes, it does indeed. He's a real Walter Mitty character, isn't he?
Yeah. But they're saying here that maybe the Men in Black did influence him because they're going to say it was a hoax because they didn't want any more So you sort of go one way that it's definitely a hoax, and then you go the other way where you could see that it was all sort of covered up.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've sort of not got anywhere. We're sort of stuck in the middle still, aren't we? We're not really.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not really the 70% that thinks it's a total fake now. I'm sort of changing. But there's a link to this story here if you want to read it.
Yeah, the resolution's very poor on my side.
Yeah, you'd have to use the link on the side. I'm just scanning it. I'm blowing up the screen 300%. You see
now
it
I
now,
can see.
right? It's, so these are the documents that he got on the Freedom of Information.
Okay.
The memo cited above is labeled copies destroyed, and although it was written the same day off the memo stating that Dell did not admit the matter was a hoax, an attached memo states that both Dell and Chrisman admitted there were no discs. According to this memo, the materials found by Chrisman and Dell were simply strange rock formations they found in a gravel pit on Maury Island, spelt wrong, and Dell wrote a false letter claiming that the material came from a flying disc and that they had been paid to say as much. This version of events is also memorized in the statement signed by Chrisman and given to FBI. So it gets even more strange, doesn't it?
The deeper you dig.
A few days later, another memo is issued for the director of FBI, Edgar Hoover, labeled
Now
SMX, abbreviation
Hoover,
for security matter. Hang on, complicates the story slightly. According to this memo, the people aboard the crashed plane had met with Darrell and Chrisman to discuss the flying disc story and had taken a sample of the rocks. The FBI continued to collect a number of stories from various individuals and eventually concluded the strange rocks fragments bore a distinct resemblance to slag from a smelter. Although many have concluded that the Bureau was correct and the matter was a hoax, the story gets just a little bit stranger. In late 1960s, Fred Chrisman was fingered as being one of the people responsible for Kennedy assassination. Well, that's not entirely unique. Hundreds of people have been accused with varying degrees of alleged complexity. He was one of the more investigated individuals. He was even called to testify for a grand jury in trial of Clayshaw, the only criminal prosecution trial to attempt to address the JFK assassination. Some believe Crimson was one of the three tramps that had been arrested in Delhi Plaza on the day of Kennedy's assassination. It was later investigated by the HSCA, which concluded that all of the people accused of being one of the three tramps, only Chrisman bore any resemblance, but he wasn't in Dallas that day. So the story is really crazy. The whole thing is just hard to get your head around. This would be mostly a forgettable piece of trivia if it was not for one final piece of twist of high weirdness. Chrisman was already connected to one of the suspects in the Clayshaw trial through the Maury Island and Security Matter X. It's a lot of reading. So what's the main parts here? According to Jim's and Crimson's files from Crimson, both he and Bannister were connected to Sergio Smith, a leader of a CIA-backed anti-Castro group that Baxter apparently helped supply with arms. These twists of high weirdness surrounding the JFK assassination are so high and so weird that H.P. Alpario to dedicated a book to it. So now that there is no doubt that security matter X-Files are real, more requests will be filed with the Bureau to dig them out, including materials on L.J. Hubbard and anything else, even somewhat related to Scientology. In the meantime, you can read the FBI file on Fred Wilson embedded. Yeah. That's
I know
crazy.
one thing is sure,
here's all the documents.
Paul?
Yeah. There's a lot of documents there. Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah. Yeah. What's this now?
Well, what's what? I'll just
okay, just change the page. So
yeah, sort of wrapping up now because I'm getting a bit tired.
Yeah, I'm hungry as well.
We've been going since what time was it? 10:30. It must be like a 4-hour episode on this sort of stuff. But yes, we sort of hopped around a bit there. So those links are quite interesting. Maybe it will need to have a read of it and see if you find anything extra, and come do another live sometime and say, "Oh, you found that in the links," because I ain't got time to read all that, all those freedom of information documents. Maybe there's something in there somewhere.
I can see why people. I can see why people are revising the case now.
Yeah, especially if he's mentioned in those X-Files.
Yeah.
So he was if he was a disruptor, why was he at that?
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. It doesn't sort of fit that scenario. Why would he be there unless he's there to create the story on JFK? So I always suspect that. I always thought that it was a single shooter myself, and it was the guy that caught Oswald, the guy that caught myself, because I've looked at other documentaries where they've scanned in the footage and redone it in HD, and they've tracked all the bullet paths. Apparently, one of the bullets had a traffic light. I'm not sure if you've seen that documentary or not. And
maybe not that one.
Coming around the corner. It's a really good one. I think it was a BBC one, Horizon one. Or it might have been, I'm pretty sure it was a BBC one. Well, what they did is they got hold of the original film and they scanned it in the highest possible resolution.
Yeah.
Probably was 4K or something. And they scanned even the side bits, so they got some extra information from the film. And then they sort of used other footage they found from people that hadn't submitted their footage before. And they could hear the gun firing, and they could count how many times it was fired. And they looked at the footage, and they saw there was an old traffic light there hanging on a wire like they have in America. And it wasn't there anymore when they were investigating in 2015 or whatever it was.
Okay.
So I reckon it was him, but I think maybe he was brainwashed. Now we're seeing. I've done that live session about mind control, and he could easily have been influenced or brainwashed to carry out the shooting, and not knowing that he was behind it.
The only discrepancy.
There's also another shoot.
The only discrepancy I
Yeah.
find with Oswald being the only shooter is that he was using a Nakano Second World War rifle, which certainly wasn't renowned for its accuracy. And he was also using pretty much the cheapest, nastiest scope that he could have afforded to have put on it. Now, if he was being paid by a higher power to do this, then surely they'd have given him top-end equipment to do the job. I find that unusual, personally.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the documentary was called, but it's worth having a watch of it.
Yeah.
I think you can find it on one of the other sites where copyright's not sort of removed it, but you won't find it on YouTube anymore.
No, YouTube. Oh.
JFK. I don't think it was called The Lost Bullet. BBC documentary. Let's see if I can figure out the name. It's well worth watching if you've not seen it. I don't think it was those ones. There's been so many documentaries on this Kennedy. It ain't funny. It's called Traffic Light. I have posted links in the past about it to people who said it wasn't one shooter.
And even if it was Oswald who was the lone gunman, I think somebody was behind him.
Oh, it was National Geographic. It probably was The Lost Bullet. I don't want to play it because I'll probably risk my copyright.
Yeah, okay. You can post a link to me later if you like.
It definitely was National Geographic, I think. I probably could find it because I got it saved on the hard drive here somewhere.
Good.
But I know the whole documentary is available. Let's see. I did post it. Let's see if I can find it on Twitter. I did post it on Twitter. I know everybody loves talking about JFK. Where's my Twitter account here? I'll search it, see if I can find the link. I did a link straight into where the part where they're talking about the traffic light. So I did a time jump on it. Will it allow me to search if I'm not logged in? I think so. I think I've tried it before. FK. I have to remember what my @ symbol is. Out. Oh, come on. Out there, I think. 16.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with your keyboard.
I am, yeah. No. I've done it wrong. Maybe it's just... Have I got too many... What's it say here? They're out there. What did I type wrong? I must have done something wrong.
I think it was just a spelling mistake.
Was it a spelling?
I think so, yeah.
It should come up with my search again, though.
Not to everything now, Paul.
I will find it. But I have to go because my brain's sort of fading now.
Yeah.
It wasn't called JFK. Maybe I called it the traffic light or something. Or Kennedy. Oh, here we go. By repeating the movie, JFK added aliens. So it looks like other people replied to that. So let's have a look. Yeah, it was a lost bullet, and it was on YouTube, but in China. Wonder if that one still works. Let's see. I'll paste the link down the side. See if you can play it on yours without, because you won't get the copyright.
What was it called? JFK.
Just click the link on the side there. Click the link on the side there.
God, where's it gone now?
And then see if it plays, but don't. But mute yourself so it doesn't give me a copyright strike if it plays. Let me know if it plays.
I can't find a link.
Well, it's on the side chat. Just click it.
Which one is it? There's nothing actually giving me an arrow here on the side chat.
No, open up Twitter to what you got on the screen here.
I don't have a Twitter account.
All right. Okay, I'll post it on the side chat of Hangouts then. Because you ain't got YouTube open, that's the thing. How do I get the thing up? Where's the side pop-up bit? Hang on. I'm not getting the chat box up.
Okay.
Here we go. I finally got it up.
Got YouTube open now anyway.
I'll just post it down the side for you on Hangouts. So it's on Hangouts side chat as well.
Hangouts side chat. Oh, right there.
Yeah. But mute yourself before you try and play it, just in case. Because I'll get a strike.
Okay.
So you should get a page like on my screen. Looks like it might still be there. So is it playing for you? But looks like there was other links anyway on the search that I did that you can find that documentary. But I think some call other documentaries Lost Bullet as well. And it sort of mixes you up, because I think I'd come across that problem once. Anyway, are you still there, Rob? I know you muted your mic, but can you still hear me? Did it play? You can pause it and then unmute and then talk back to me. Did it actually work?
Yes, Paul. It
did it actually, right, did it actually jump to the location about the traffic light?
No, there was ads to begin with.
Right. I think it's in at the very end, about 35 minutes at the end or something like that. At the end, they talk about the traffic light, and yeah, just watch the whole documentary anyway. It's quite interesting. They scan in the footage anyway. Anyway, I'm going to run down now and
okay.
that Google processed the file and all that business. I don't know how good it's come out because we had all those little glitches and slowness.
Yeah, we'll have to play it back and see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of the worst glitchy settings that we've had, and you still sound clicky to me, but I don't know how it's going to record.
Exactly,
so I'm just going to switch to my. I'm just going to switch to my end credits here and end off the session now.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
And maybe I can do another one in the weekend on some other subjects. I was going to actually cover flat Earth, some stuff that people brought up in flat Earth, and show how you can debunk it. But I'll leave that for another time. So,
have you ever thought of having a quick look at the whether it's a debunk or not? The Guy Hotel memo.
What was that? You sort of broke up.
Guy. Okay, I'll try again. The Guy Motel memo or Motel memo.
I've not heard of it.
Okay, well, it's the FBI's most viewed file.
Oh, right.
Online.
On JFK.
No, it's not on JFK. It's about an alien. It's about an alien recovery.
Oh, okay. Did we talk about a memo before on alien crash retrievals? It wasn't that memo.
Yes, that was the the 1947 Twining memo.
Right. Well, this is another one.
This is another one. Yes.
Oh, well, you can bring it up next time we do a chat. Eh? Anyway, I'm just going to round off now, and if you can mute your mic, and I'll just say good night to you now.
Okay, good night, Paul.
Okay, good night.